Hi, I'm Raylene, and welcome to Khaleesi Clues. In this video, I will be discussing if there is any possible chance for the return of Laenor Velaryon. I do not believe I will be discussing anything that should be considered a spoiler. So let me just start by saying, I feel as if I'm a bit obsessed with the idea of seeing Laenor Velaryon return to the House of the Dragon for no other purpose other than to see exactly how he dies. I feel really guilty for saying or wanting that to happen, but at the same time, I completely feel as if it is 100% the show's fault. They are the ones who decided to have him sail off into the night to live the life that he always wanted. I also can't stop wondering if the fight scene between Aemond and Lucerys, where Aemond tells Luke, "You will die screaming in flames just as your father did," is any type of clue, or is it just a throwaway line? Now, clearly, Aemond was at least partially wrong. Luke died, just not in flames. The show has Harwin and Laenor both appear to die in flames. There has been so much stress about the boys being bastards, something that has been used to torment them and Rhaenyra. I keep thinking that there will be a final scene that will clarify the truth of their parentage, not so much for the characters in the story, but for us, the viewers. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not that I want Laenor to be dead. I would have loved to see him return to the show somehow. Having Laenor survive Season 1 created quite a mystery for those who knew that Seasmoke would later be claimed by the new writer, Adam of Hull. The main problem with that being the fact that a dragon will not bond to more than one rider. Before Season 2 started, everyone speculated on how the showrunners were going to handle this situation. One resolve to this issue was that Laenor could come back into the story with a new identity playing the role of Adam of Hull. But then, they announced that the actor Clinton Liberty would be playing the role of Adam. So, back to the drawing board we all went and figured that Laenor must die for real somehow, and that the show will let us know either by Rhaenyra receiving a raven or give us a death scene. But as the season has progressed, we have had not any definitive answer about Laenor. The show making it even a bigger mystery by adding the strange behavior of Seasmoke, literally choosing his own new writer. I could be wrong on this, but I seriously do not remember reading anywhere that the dragons, like cats, have a universal distribution system where random people are chosen ones to be their proud new owners. Again, I loved the scene. I thought it was hilarious. But seriously, why did Seasmoke choose him? It's not like Seasmoke was ever close enough to Adam to smell or examine him. Adam would have appeared like an ant on the ground to Seasmoke, and a blurry ant considering that he would have been viewed while in motion of flight. I don't know, just another unanswered question for now to add to the mystery list. I just keep telling myself it will all make sense in the end. This entire storyline is strange, which makes it even more intriguing to me. This season is like they are teasing us by adding little clues here and there about Laenor and Seasmoke, and I am hoping that they are actually leading up to some answers. So here are the latest clues that may point to Laenor's return that can be added to the previous clues I talked about in my video titled Laenor or Harwin, Who's Your Daddy? The first one is from the small council meeting in episode 6 titled Small Folk. Aemond has instructed Tylan to make an alliance with the Triarchy and states that the Triarchy will delight in the chance to terrorize the sea snake again. Aemond's statement is referring back to the battle at the Stepstones during Season 1 where Corlys and Daemon fought and defeated Craghas Drahar and the Triarchy. But they are not the only MVPs during that war. Laenor Velaryon and his dragon Seasmoke played a huge role in that battle too. The Triarchy coming back into the story led me to go back to Season 1, Episode 6 titled The Princess and the Queen. That's the episode where Laenor came stumbling in drunk with his boyfriend, telling Rhaenyra that the Triarchy was at war again in the Stepstones. Laenor was feeling the need for a little adventure, wanting to go relive the glory days of battle, and specifically spoke of a Tyroshi general that is said to be a giant who dyes his beard purple and wears women's frocks. Now, could this specific Tyroshi general that Laenor mentioned end up being the leader of the same dangerous mercenaries that Tywin Lannister warns Aemond about? If so, combine that with Aemon's statement about the Triarchy delighting in the chance to terrorize the sea snake leads me to wonder if they will end up getting their hands on Laenor. What better way to terrorize the sea snake? Now, in episode 7, titled The Red Sewing, we have information revealed during the strange conversation between Lord Larys and Lord Jasper. When Jasper mentions that Rhaena could possibly be the rider spotted on Seasmoke, Larys informs us that she apparently tried to claim Seasmoke when she was 14 and was nearly devoured by him. Now, number one, how does he even know this information? I would assume that this means someone is leaking information about things happening on Dragonstone back to him. The first we even heard about this was in episode 6, and it was mentioned by Corlys during the small council meeting. Now we have Larys mentioning the same information in episode 7. I find the timing interesting, and it definitely makes me wonder if Mysaria has informed him of this recent revelation. I'm not sure how old Rhaena is supposed to be in the show at this time. Hearing this information makes me think that Laenor is still alive, at least at that point of time, and could possibly be the reason why Seasmoke would not accept her as a rider. By the way, it would be nice to know if Rhaena tried claiming Seasmoke without Daemon and Rhaenyra's knowledge. I would imagine, since they are assumably aware that Laenor is still alive out there somewhere, that they would never allow Rhaena to attempt such a thing. It would clearly put Rhaena in danger, or possibly even kill her, trying to claim him. Not to mention, also being rejected by him would be so damaging to her self-esteem as a dragon rider. Later in that same episode, we have Jacaerys bringing up Harwin Strong, whom everyone has assumed is actually his father, making it clear to his mother that he too happens to believe that he is a bastard. Again, this scene bringing up the question of his true parentage to mind. I seriously want answers. There are so many ways that the writers could tie Laenor's return into this part of the story. Here is a few of my newest ideas of how this could happen. Number 1 would be that Laenor actually followed through with his desires, going with Qarl to fight again at the Stepstones and ending up being captured there. Number 2, my final idea involves Mysaria, which I have to say, I do not trust that lady at all. I don't know what my problem is. I seem to have trust issues and suspect everyone in this story. I just can't seem to help myself. I know we are supposed to trust Mysaria and that she's all about the small folk, apparently loyal to Rhaenyra and all, but I just can't do it. I still think she is working as an agent of chaos, and I don't know how else to explain it. But just hear me out with this next clue. Back in episode 3, titled The Burning Mill, Mysaria is standing on the balcony studying Seasmoke in the distant sky. Rhaenyra walks up, and as they are talking, Seasmoke seems to keep interrupting with his bellows, almost like he is trying to interfere somehow or warn her. There is also the possibility that Seasmoke is picking up on something happening to Laenor, whether he feels he is in danger, or that he is returning to Dragonstone, or even his possible death at that moment. I don't know, your guess is as good as mine. All we know for sure at this moment is that his behavior is very strange. Mysaria, picking up on this, starts questioning Rhaenyra, asking if the dragons are always like this. Rhaenyra, trying to keep a poker face, explains that Seasmoke is her late husband Laenor's dragon, and they have no idea why he's been acting restless lately. Feeling uncomfortable about the conversation, Rhaenyra tries to leave it at that and walk away, almost acting dismissive about Mysaria's questions, like, "There's nothing to see here, move along," only to be stopped in her tracks by Mysaria's next statement of, "Maybe he's lonely." Rhaenyra is speechless and abruptly walks away, which then leaves Mysaria side-eyeing her as she leaves. All I could think is how Mysaria has barely been freed out of the prison under Dragonstone, only to hit the ground running and starts gathering information every way she can and asking all sorts of questions about one of the largest dragons. I'm just not buying this "I'm just curious" act and "I'm innocent" that she is portraying here in this scene. I think Mysaria picked up on Rhaenyra's body language and it kind of blew her cover story about Laenor being dead. If Mysaria is an agent of chaos, as I suspect, or at minimum a character that would be classified as a master of whisperers, I'm sure there's been information that has reached her and Larys about what actually happened the night Laenor was supposedly killed. Whether they already know for sure that he is alive or if she is just there to gather what information she can is something we will probably never know. The real question is what would happen if the Triarchy were to receive information that Laenor, the son and heir to the sea snake, is still alive and out there. This information would have them searching for him on every boat in hopes of capturing him should he try to return home. Nothing would torment Corlys more than if the Triarchy captured Laenor. If that is the case, we might see a repeat of how Cersei used the capture of Missandei against Daenerys back in Game of Thrones. I don't know. I hope the show gives us something about Laenor. I just can't imagine that Laenor would not attempt to return home, unless they are just going to leave it to us to assume that he has really and truly died off screen. I'm just going to be so disappointed if that is the case. I guess we will have to wait and see. One last side note about Mysaria before I wrap this video up. What did everyone think about her sad story to Rhaenyra about how she received the scar on her neck, adding that she also had a scar along her waist from her father cutting the unborn baby from her, leaving her unable to bear children? Horrible and sad story if it is true. I do find it very hard to believe, though. Once again, I think she is pulling from Rhaenyra's own weaknesses, considering her own mother, Aemma, died in childbirth after they attempted to save the baby by cutting it from her womb. Absolutely astonishing, to say the least, that Mysaria miraculously survived after suffering this same type of incision, with no Grand Maester or attendants present at all. According to Mysaria, she was left for dead. Somebody please explain to me how this is even possible? Even the man that was trying to help Laena deliver her child told Daemon that he would not be able to save her if he performed that type of procedure. Again, I do not trust a word that comes out of Mysaria's mouth. I think everything she does is to create division and harm. Since her arrival, her connections have caused a division between Daemon and Rhaenyra. She has sent Elinda away from Rhaenyra. She is now creating division between Jace and Rhaenyra. You can even see how Rhaenyra is skipping her council meetings, only turning to Mysaria for advice. That advice being, "The order of things have changed, Your Grace. Why not embrace it?" To me, it almost sounds like a threat, like she is saying a change of power is coming. I think the goal of encouraging Rhaenyra to allow anyone a chance to claim a dragon is for the purpose to use the ones who succeed against Rhaenyra in the end. Again, the goal is to create chaos and division with the ultimate goal of destroying all dragons and dragon lords. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this one up for now. If you would like to show support for my channel, you can like, subscribe, share, or leave me a comment. Thank you so much for watching and have a wonderful evening.